goodness. Oh, wow! In your life, have you seen anything like that?
Hello folks, welcome back to the Cut Line, a golf podcast brought to you by the TAB. My name is Cal Tiley, joined digitally by Paul Mawate. Paul, how are you?
Yep, very good. Down to level 3 here in Wellington. Feeling for Tom and his level 4 cousins up there in Auckland, but you'll be joining us soon.
Yep, as he says, Tom, welcome in from Auckland, still in hard lockdown. How you holding up, mate?
Yeah, thank you, boys. It feels like a long way to go, to be honest, but we'll get there. I think we're going to have a mini golf tournament in the flat over the weekend, so getting a bit creative, a couple of shots downstairs and that sort of thing, so we'll see how we go.
Oh, I hope there's a water hazard.
There might be after a few beers, we'll see.
We'll have to keep track of that. We've got live betting on that for the punters.
Live betting. Well, the last time I played mini golf, I actually lost to my girlfriend based on handicapping, so I'll be rank outsider.
That was a FedEx Cup event then.
Yeah, exactly. As I said, it took all the sort of any sort of I guess I don't know, just does not make for good playing or good viewing, does it, when you're starting from well behind or well in front?
We'll get to that. There's plenty to get through before we do, though. And the obvious starting point, Patrick Cantlay, or Paddy Ice, as he's now known, wins the BMW Championship. 6-hole playoff with Bryson DeChambeau, possibly the greatest playoff we've seen this year. There's been a lot of them, but Paul, this one was epic. This was epic.
Oh, it was absolutely brilliant. I think it's probably the best illustration we've had in a while to show that it's driving for show and it's putting for dough. Because DeChambeau was knocking it down there a long way past Cantlay, and Cantlay made I can't remember how many clutch putts in a row. First of all, just to make the playoff, and then to extend the playoff. Big ups to him. Be interesting to see who DeChambeau gets paired with come Ryder Cup time. We'll get onto that later, I'm sure, or another episode. There's plenty to talk about.
You touched on his clutch putting there, Paul. I saw a stat, Tom. I think he was 47 from 47 inside 10 feet for the week. Yeah,
not Paddy Ice, Paddy Fire. This putter was on absolute fire. 14 strokes gained over the tournament with 14
and a half, the most ever since in the strokes gained era, which is from 2003, I believe. So plenty of data there. That includes plenty of Tiger's big runs and all of that. So yeah, it was a hell of a watch.
Yep. Brilliant. And I love the fact the 18th hole had water down that right-hand side, bunkers on the left. It was a risk and reward hole. And the pin was sort of tucked up the back left. It all set it up nicely for if you had the opportunity, you could go for it. If you found yourself in trouble off the tee, you probably had to take your medicine. And it's a fantastic finishing hole.
Yeah, well, I thought Bryson was gone when he put that one in the drink on about the fourth or third playoff hole, and then he still made par and managed to sort of continue on as well. It was crazy. It's about the only one that Petty missed.
That one and Cantlay's up and down on 17 in regulation. Yeah, when he put it in the drink on the par 3 there. Got up and down from 100 yards or whatever it was. Those two holes were absolutely clutch from both of those guys.
And Bryson's lack of getting up and down on that same hole, like it's quite heartwarming to see a guy who's earns X amount and is one of the best players in the world taking the Texas wedge around the greens. It's very similar to my golf game, to be honest.
Same philosophy.
No touch. Yeah, no touch around the greens. Put it in the rough. Do whatever you can. Just get it on the green, basically.
I know one of the guys from the No Laying Up podcast said that he wouldn't wish the chipping yips upon his worst enemy. I don't know where you guys stand on this. I'm kind of with you, Tom. I love to see the pros struggle, especially in areas where us normal folk really struggle. They make it a lot more relatable. Paul, where do you stand on the yips? And is there anything worse than the chipping yips?
Chipping and putting yips. And I know from actual practice. As Tom said, was it the short par 3 17th where Cantlay put it in the water? Deshambo put it short in the rough, and then fluffed his chip, and bogeyed it just like Cantlay did to keep Cantlay in the actual game. I think one of the commentators actually said as soon as Cantlay put it in the water, well, that's it.
Yeah,
this is Deshambo's, and I just thought, well, geez, Deshambo, he's in this rough, and the ball looked like it was sitting down too. So it was going to take a pretty handy chip to put him close to the pin to get a par. So I don't think he was that far out of it. And yeah, just goes to show Cantlay just kept chipping away, and he did. His chip was a lot better than Deshambo's, but his putting was just ridiculous. It was great to see, and I see they had a wee bit of controversy. I think it was the 14th hole.
Yeah, the 14th. Bryson, well, Cantlay, he said he'd already hit his shot onto the green, and he said that he'd been told by the officials to pick up the pace. So he was starting his walk, and maybe caught Bryson's eye as Bryson was about to hit. And DeChambeau stopped and said, "Patrick, can you stop moving, please?" Probably no big deal, really. Like, I tend to agree with if there's someone in your line and you're playing for that much money, surely you've got the right to ask them to stop. But a lot of people reading into it like it's DeChambeau digging himself a hole again. What do you guys think?
Yeah, well, I remember I played a round of golf with you just before lockdown in ACR, and I had the radio going to listen to the races, and ACR wasn't too happy about that.
Right, yeah.
I was very happy because it was putting him off of his game. But I think DeChambeau he's like I don't know, related to NRL. He's like a Latrell Mitchell. He's got a sort of a reputation now of these sorts of things, and so anytime something like this happens, it'll go back and it'll be sort of a negative sort of look on him. I think this was neither here nor there this time.
Probably made bigger by the fact that Cantlay drained his 22-foot putt for birdie, and Bryson only made par. I think that brought them back to level at 26 or 27 under. So everyone sort of ripping into it that way. Tom, your take on that situation?
No, I agree. I don't think it actually was as big a deal as made out to be. I think you're right. It's because it's Bryson. He's got a right if he's walking and actually sort of putting him off, he's got a right to sort of just tell him to hold fire. It's no big deal. I mean, I was playing for comparatively sort of beers and skittles with a mate of mine who new to the game, and I was lining up about a 5-foot putt, and as I was sort of coming to the ball, he's walked right behind me to get a line on the putt. I've missed the putt. I must mention I have sort of mellowed out of it on the golf course now. I've missed the putt and turned around and absolutely blasted him and said, "Mate, you don't do that." A couple of expletives in there. Stormed off. I think that was the last round of golf he ever played. So
Tom Hill's growing the game, everybody.
Yeah, ruined his career. I'm sorry, Tim, for listening. So I can see how it can happen. But yeah, one more sort of highlight for me in that playoff was just on the par 3 when Bryson put his to about 8 feet, 6 feet, and then Cantlay's actually put it inside of him. That was incredible. Just the clutch, considering he sort of put it, like you said, in the water during regular time. That was just added to it, and the crowd as well. It was that was sort of atmosphere which we haven't seen on a golf course. I don't know, for a couple of years, I reckon.
It's it seems like the perfect lead into the Ryder Cup in a couple of weeks. That sort of match play aspect, going back and forth, the crowd getting behind their favourite golfer, and going right down to the death. I loved it, and like you say, that that 17th hole. I don't know about you guys, but I was sitting here in my office by myself, and I was up and about, arms flailing and cheering and hoo-haring, and the wife and the kids were wondering what's going on.
What's going on?
Just watching the golf, guys.
Working.
Yeah. Speaking of short fuses, Tom, did you happen to see Pat and Keziah?
Yes. That's if you haven't seen it, go on YouTube and look it up. He's missed a short putt. I actually heard, I think it was on that No Laying Up podcast, and they were talking about it, and they asked him what happened, and he said before he even got over the putt, he basically knew that he was going to miss it. And he missed it. It wasn't like he was on the bubble to go to next tournament. He was basically last in the standings. He's tapped the ball in after missing. He's tried to sort of hit the ball with his putter into the water and just top edged it over his shoulder, walked off, snapped his putter, and probably what was the best part of his tantrum. And then as he's walking through the sort of gallery, he's taken his hat off, and as he's just trying to rip his hat. I don't know what he was doing, but it looked bloody odd and didn't really work. So, and that was an all-time meltdown.
I understand that. I understand. Every time I stand over a putt, I think I'm going to miss it. Not just one or two. Every single time I line up a putt, I think I'm going to miss this. I can see the line. I'm not going to hit it there, though, am I? No, I'm not.
leg putting from 2 feet.
Exactly.
Like it was good to watch and good to see. The best part of it, I thought, was the reaction of the fans as he's trying to rip his hat and walk past. They're all sort of looking at him like, is this guy for real? Love to see it. Another of the pros who perhaps flew a little too close to the sun, KH Lee. Just needed a par on the last to be last man in, and
pushed it right.
Pushed it left.
Did he push it right or left?
No, right.
Right. Yeah, just above the. Yeah.
I thought he went up into the stand.
Yeah.
On the right-hand side.
Oh, what? Okay. Yep.
Yeah. And then he somehow got a drop, or didn't he get the lead in the hazard from the grandstand or whatever it was?
From the stand, yeah.
He was stuffed. I actually on Shank Watch as well. I saw Garcia shanked one on about 15 before he sort of made that birdie finish. I love seeing shanks, and he was sort of behind a tree, and I actually thought he hit the tree, and then on the replay it showed he just basically shanked it straight out right. Shanks, mate.
Hell of a round from Sergio. He and Van Rooyen, the only two outside the top 30 in the FedEx Cup standings to get inside the top 30. They both started mid-40s and shot the lights out basically over the weekend to come in 29th and 28th maybe. Patrick Reed holds on to his 30th spot without playing
twice.
Two events.
He hasn't played. It's like everyone else is going backwards. He's just standing still.
Yeah, so sorry, Sergio got to 28, and Van Rooyen 27.
Do we know if Reed's going to make it this week?
Hasn't been stated yet, I don't think. And if he doesn't, they will keep the field at 29.
It'd be unlikely, surely.
Has been released from hospital, though, I believe.
Double pneumonia.
Double pneumonia and an ankle injury.
Yeah, unlikely.
Not doing himself any favours for the Ryder Cup. Which we could probably talk about now, unless you guys want to talk anything more with BMW.
No, let's do Ryder Cup because the automatic picks are done.
They are done. Let me just bring it up here. The US, that's European. The US have Colin Morikawa, Dustin Johnson, Deshambo, Brooks Koepka, Justin Thomas, and with his win, Patrick Cantlay takes the 6th spot. He knocked out Tony Finau,
who you'd think would be a captain's pick anyway.
I've heard my sources, and my sources are other podcasts, tell me that he got a call from Stricker on the 18th green at Liberty National after he won, saying that he was in, and he'd been spotted at Whistling Straits previously too. In 8th spot, Xander Schauffele. You're not going to not pick him, right?
No, he's in.
He's in.
Next, Jordan Spieth. You're probably going to take him.
Yeah,
big game player. Then this is the last 3 spots, I think, probably up for contention for the Americans. On the list, we've got Harris English, Patrick Reed, Daniel Berger. Are you keeping those 3, Paul?
I want to find a spot for Big Phil.
Oh, you don't, do you?
I do.
Is that just because you want to beat Europe?
Your entertainment?
I'll tell you what. With Reed, if Reed does play and DeChambeau, Stricker's going to have to play around with the pairings quite a bit. He flew aren't, shall we say, friends paired with one another. So I'd probably put, if Reed and DeChambeau are in there, I'd probably put those 2 together.
Phil and DeChambeau played the match together, or in the same. They played against each other, and they seemed like they were getting on all right. So maybe
there we go.
There is an argument for Phil. So Berger's 12, Simpson, Scheffler, Kokrak, Burns, Horschel, Kisner, Nah, and then Mickelson 20th in the rankings at the moment.
All right. I think we can rule out Kevin Na. Yeah, nah.
Do you think he's like his last 4 starts, tied 2nd, tied 23rd, tied 2nd, tied 8th?
I don't think this course probably suits him.
Yeah, but looking at the American team, there's a whole lot of bombers there, especially in sort of the foursomes and stuff. Nah, it's an absolute what is he? Top 5 short game player in the world. And he's probably one of those guys that can match some of the European sort of fire and exuberance, like guys like Morikawa and DJ, Brooks even. Don't tend to sort of fire up or bring any sort of different sort of personality-wise. I mean, he's got experience. He might not be a bad sort of foil for the sort of big younger bombers.
I'll be honest, it's the first time I've heard Kevin Na's name thrown up in the Ryder Cup mix. But you make a pretty good point.
You do make a good argument. I still can't have him.
Man in form.
For me, I've got to have Scotty Scheffler in there. He's 14th currently, so only just outside the 12. Berger, I think, at 12 is a lock. He's been playing some of the best golf in the world for last year. And English and Reed, I'm not sure. Reed, obviously, you probably take him if he's fit and available.
Yes.
But how that affects the team and who plays with him, I don't know. If no one likes him, tough guy.
Him and Bryson just play together.
He does tend to get up for these things. And I remember his him and Rory's duel.
That was brilliant.
2016, was it?
Yeah.
Or was that in France?
That was fantastic. The one where Rory would make a putt and then he'd make a putt right behind. It was just brilliant golf.
Yeah, that was 2016, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right. If he's sort of fit and available, he makes it for sure.
Yeah, and then I've sort of that last spot where Harris English is. He's probably deserved that. He's won twice this year, almost won 3 times, but he's for a person who doesn't have any, tendency to go either way in terms of patriotism. Like I'm not gonna. This is purely a betting event for me, and I love watching golf. It's more about my favorite players. Harris English doesn't do it for me. I'd much rather see go down the list and have a look at a young guy like a Will Zalatoris or a Matthew Wolff. Throw.
Well, Scheffler, you already got Scheffler in. We're saying Berger's a lock. I think Reed's a lock if he's fit. So that's just one more spot.
Oh yeah, Scheffler, of course. Yeah, so Scheffler takes English.
Scheffler, I think, has probably got the inside running, isn't he? Like he's showing in the majors. I mean, I've got his major stats here. The last 6 starts, he's gone T19, T4, T18, T8, T7, T8. So he certainly steps up in the big occasion, which obviously the Ryder Cup's probably arguably the biggest. My argument around now is sort of playing devil's advocate a bit. I don't think they'll pick him, but there is some sort of case to the argument that you could make with everyone, basically. I know some people were talking about Webb Simpson, again, probably not the course where you'd sort of say that he's suited, but in terms of Ryder Cup and looking at pairings and stuff, a guy who, great putter, great short game, got experience. I mean, he's in the conversation, but I think he's lost every single Ryder Cup that he's played in, so probably not a great stat for him.
Yeah. And then, anything more to add on the US team there, Paul?
No, I think it's fairly straightforward about who Stricker will take with his 6 captain picks. There may be a surprise with the 12th pick, like a Phil Mickelson. But outside of that, it's pretty straightforward for mine.
Yeah. And then the Europeans, they've got two qualifying lists here. They've got European points and world points. Qualifiers through European points: John Rahm, Tommy Fleetwood, Tyrrell Hatton, and Rory McIlroy. And then through the world points: Victor Hovland, Paul Casey, Matt Fitzpatrick, Lee Westwood, Shane Lowry. So that only gives them 3 captains' picks.
Oh, crikey.
And I think 2 of them are probably locked up.
Are we gonna see Mollywood? No.
I don't think so.
Poor old Frankie.
I think, I don't know about you guys, but I think Poulter's a lock and Sergio will get picked. And then that last spot is probably the most one that's up for grabs. Few people saying Justin Rose probably on his history. He is currently sitting 19th he's higher up the list in the European points than Poulter is. So yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I agree with you. I think Sergio certainly over the last couple of weeks has played himself into contention, especially with his experience. Poulter, I mean, he loves it, but I mean, he was good 10 years ago, whatever. He had that amazing sort of tournament or Ryder Cup, but since then, I don't actually think his record is as good as everyone probably thinks it is. So, I mean, you probably want some experience there, don't you? Like, I mean,
he's
a lot of young guys.
He's a hype man, right? He's a hype man who can get hype.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, even though it's not in Europe this time, he'll be one who gives it back to the fans 100%. So, yeah, I think he's definitely in. I'd love them to find a place for my old mate Frankie.
I don't think he isn't featured enough this year to get a look, Paul. But I'm with you. I'd love to see him and Tommy Fleetwood.
I'm pretty sure he was the top points scorer in the last Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
For both the Americans and the Euro, he was either 100% or he half one match and won everything else.
Yeah.
That's when he was on fire, though. If you look at what he's doing now. What are we? Early odds: USA $1.50, Europe $2.75.
Yeah, give me the 275.
Oh,
Give it to me now.
The course is going to be set up to suit the Americans, though, right? Like
It
you
will
said,
be.
Tom, they've stacked their team full of bombers, and the pins will be easy. All they have to do is get it as close to the green as they can, chip it on, and putt it in. I mean, the Europeans they're pretty top heavy when it comes to there's a lot of big hitters in there, but I don't think they will. I don't know. I'll take the 275 on value, but I'm not sold.
Let's not forget the miracle at, was it Medina?
Yeah.
Loved it.
So this is more about I like the head-to-heads, the pairings. Once the pairings come out and you get it right into the betting.
Oh, it's some of the best. It's the best sort of golf you can watch, isn't it? That
3 day. What is it? Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I won't be going anywhere. Well, I don't know about timings. What sort of timings we're running?
I'll probably still be in lockdown, so I won't be going anywhere either.
21st to the 26th of 21st. It's a Wednesday. Oh, that can't be right. Anyway, yeah, getting excited, and
already, yeah.
The teams get confirmed after this week at the Tour Championship. Then we get a month, essentially, or 3 weeks of hype. I'm sure the PGA Tour rolls over into the new season immediately. I'm just going to have a quick look at that. But no one really cares. Yeah, it's next week. Fortinet Championship. And then there might be a week off. And then the Fortinet Championship. And then the Ryder Cup. And then, man, it just doesn't stop, does it? I was hoping we get a wee rest here, but just
straight back into it.
We'll go.
Yeah.
Anyway, should we have a look at the Tour Championship this week? And
yes.
Get into some betting, as you boys touched on. It is, if you don't know, people, it is a handicapped event. 30 players, if Patrick Reed plays. Here is how they line up. Patrick Cantlay starts. Patrick Reed starts last. Patrick Cantlay.
Be careful.
Patrick Cantlay starts at -10. Tony Finau starts at -8. Deshambo -7. Rahm -6. Cam Smith -5. And then JT, English, Answer, Spieth, and Burns all -4. Morikawa, Hovland, Oosthuizen, DJ -3. Rory, Schauffele, Kokrak, Nah, and Brooks -2. Connors, Matsuyama, Sink, Neiman, and Scheffler -1. Everyone else starts at even. It is done so any one of the 30 players has a chance to win the FedEx Cup, essentially. And whoever is the leader after the 72 holes on the scoreboard is the winner of both the Tour Championship and the FedEx Cup. Paul, I know you love this format.
Hate it. Absolutely hate it. It's a bastardization of the wonderful game of golf. Shouldn't be allowed. Once again, sponsors mucking around with... If there's one sport in the world where the rules haven't changed from the time the game was created, golf would be right up there. There's no need to play around with the rules. Obviously, they've done this because of what happened. Was it 2017? I think it was. 18. So, yeah, they want their money's worth. And to be fair, they're putting a whole chunk of money into this tournament. But I hate it. And because of that, I will be boycotting any betting options that include handicaps. Not interested whatsoever.
Wowee. Oh, Christ, my pen's just exploded. You bring up the money, and like you say, wowee, there is a lot of money. First place, Tom gets 15 million. Second, 5. Third, 4. Fourth, 3. Fifth, 2.5. Sixth, 1.9. Seventh, 1.3, and eighth, 1.1 million. and then 9th, 950. Last place, you cashing just under 400k.
Yeah, hence why Sergio was so rapt to make birdie on the last week and sneak in. I mean, it's huge, isn't it? Imagine running a 100-meter sprint for 15 million, and you get a 10-meter head start. That's effectively what Cantlay's got. Yeah, interesting format, but we'll see. We'll see how we go.
It's a lot of money, Paul. It's a lot of money.
Oh, 100%. And you can see why everyone hangs around for this, because when was it? It was about 10 or so years ago where the best players just weren't turning up. This was their downtime, that sort of thing. So to get them, you get up the prize money. And then obviously the sponsors have fiddled with the game of golf to just swing it more in their favour, that the person who wins the tournament wins a whole lot, sort of thing.
Yeah, a lot of money. I wouldn't know what to do with 400,000, let alone 15 million. Man. I want to go down the list just quickly of sort of we'll go down the list, and I want you to give me a yes or no and a quick talking to can these players or will this player win the FedEx Cup, and your thoughts on them. Paul, start with you. Patrick Cantlay.
I'm going to say no. After that blockbuster playoff last week, that takes a whole lot of energy out of you. Emotionally, it would have drained him. I just think it's just too hard to get back up again after a victory like that. So even though he's got the handicap sort of lead, I don't think he wins. So I don't think he's value in the book.
No, he's not. He's not even favourite either. Oh, I know he is. He's combined favourite.
450.
Yeah. Tony Finau, -8.
No, I'm putting a line through Big Tony as well. One win with an asterisk next to it over the last 4 years. Playing for the biggest purse he can. Starting with a whole lot of pressure, being second on the leaderboard. I am not backing Big Tony. I mean, he's in good form. He can finish okay, but winning, not for me.
I agree with you, Paul and Cantlay. I think he can't win. I think Finau's a big chance this week. This is probably perfect for him. He doesn't have to win the tournament. He could, someone way down the list could be the top, the best scorer in the
lowest score
in the weekend or in the week. All he has to do is reel in 2 shots on Cantlay, which I think he'll do very easily, and hold off the rest. So I give Tony a big chance this week. And at 750 on the 4th line of betting, of the heavy favourites there, he's my pick. Paul Deshambo.
Once again, for the same reasons around Patrick Cantlay, and he doesn't have the handicap cushion that Cantlay has either. You could see that took quite a bit out of him. He had a putt on the 72nd hole to win, and in fact, I think Cantlay actually gave him a line. Cantlay's putt was similar to just a wee bit further away. He couldn't do it, and then he had another short putt on either the 2nd or 3rd playoff hole, which didn't go in either. So I just think he'll be another one who's emotionally drained. So I can't have him either, and I don't think Eastlake sort of favours those big bombers as much as the BMW did last weekend.
Yeah,
took the words right out of my mouth, Paul. I think so. You need driving accuracy, don't you? And it's sort of quite thick rough here, and I just think that course last week was absolutely set up for Bryson to bomb and gouge his way around. You're going to need a little bit more finesse, a little bit more accuracy this week. And so, I don't think Bryson coming off the back, like you said, of that sort of playoff loss will have enough gas in the tank to sort of challenge this week.
Yeah, I agree with you both. Tom, what about John Rahm, world number one? He started last week red hot and then sort of faded at the end, but most consistent golfer out there.
Yeah, I think he's favourite for a reason, even though he's 4 shots back, isn't he? Like he's the hottest man in golf at the moment. Look at all the statistics. I think he's actually performed pretty well here in the past as well. So he's the man to beat, even though he's 4 shots back. I think he can certainly win it. Whether or not you want to be taking the $4.50 when he's starting 4 shots back, probably not. But yeah, he's favourite for a reason.
And then what about Cameron Smith, Paul, at 5 under, 5 back?
Too far back. He's just too far back. It's just very, very tough when you're that far back, and you're going to have to play at least 3 brilliant rounds of golf, I think, from that far back to figure in the numbers at the end. So, yeah, party in the back, business at the front, but not this weekend.
It's a pretty good segue, because the next part I was going to say, can anyone, or how far back is too far back? Can anyone at -4 or -3, -2 even, can they win? Tom?
4 is 6 shots back. It'd be
It's over
bloody
4
tough.
rounds, remember? It's over 4 rounds.
I know.
Might I remind you both, last year, Xander Schauffele finished second, I think maybe 1 or 2 shots back of DJ, and he started...
Had the best 72-hole score as well.
He did, and I look back and I picked that on the cut line last year. So, but he was 7 shots back at the start, so he made up 6 shots essentially.
Yeah, I think they can. The guys sort of 4 under. I mean, it's all about starting. If you can jump up a couple and be within sort of 2 or 3 of the lead after the first round, then anything can go. So guys like JT, I think Enter and Spieth might both go quite well this weekend, and I actually quite like Sanjay Im as well. Whether or not they can, I don't know. Yeah, whether or not they can claw the way back, but I'm picking those sort of 3 guys to be the guys that sort of challenge potentially.
It's gonna be very, very hard. I think what makes it slightly more gettable this season is the fact we don't have someone like a DJ or a Rory who are sitting in first place at the moment. Who and those guys, they'd have to have a terrible round for them not to win from first place. So sure, it's more gettable, but still unlikely for mine.
Yeah, I think last year DJ came in on the back of 2 wins and 2 seconds as we got to East Lake, so he was fired up, and then he finished second to Xander in the 72-hole scoring anyway. So yeah, I think JT is a big shout at 4 under. I think he's a chance. And then if I look to anyone at 3 under, DJ played the weekend pretty well last week, but he's probably been too inconsistent. Rory's won 2 of these before at 2 under, Xander, but I think maybe 2 under is just too far back. I think 3 is possible. 4 is likely. They're a better chance than 3s. But yeah, I'll probably rule the line at 4. Right, let me find my document. Here it is. Should we get into some betting? Well, first of all, Paul, do you want to, should we have a look at last week, actually?
Yeah. Have I still got that open? Yes, I have. No, I haven't got it open. But I know what happened.
Run us through
it. Well, funnily enough, myself and Tom had Koepka as our top pick and Joaquin Niemann as our
Oh,
mid-tier.
that's right.
And unfortunately, no good. I think Tom had Keith Mitchell. No.
No good. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, Keith Mitchell, and I had Charlie Hoffman as an outsider. Both no good. I think the only one who had a collect was Carl, who picked John Rahm to be a first-round leader, and he did in a three-way tie. So got a wee bit of a deduction there. So sort of didn't get a return as much as he would have liked. So, but still got something.
I actually followed you in on that, Carl. You made a good point in terms of his pre-round, tournament odds compared to his first round odds. So I followed you in. Unfortunately, Rory bloody eagled 16 or whatever it was and made it a three-way tie rather than a two-way tie. But still, we collect, which was nice.
Can you run us through, Tom, your sick little three-leg multi that had Bryson DeChambeau in it?
Yeah, look, there was some couple of nice horses obviously going around at Caulfield on Saturday, including Probabeel. I was looking at the golf odds, and from what I could gather, although I didn't sort of spruik him here, the course was set up for Bryson. Didn't want to take him to win, so I just put him top 5 at $4.50 with Probabeel and another horse, both paying about $2 or $2.20. So going into the final round, I was up early watching Bryson, and it was pretty stress-free. I think Paul said he's probably either going to, based on past performances, probably going to either win or to finish outside the top 5. But luckily, inside the top 5, and luckily it wasn't on him to win the tournament. So we $10 three-leg multi into a couple hundred, which was a nice Monday morning collect.
Very nice. In fact, Google told me that DeChambeau won the tournament.
Oh.
the early crow.
So there's been a lot of early crows between us in the last couple of weeks, so Google's jumping on board. All right, let's get to this week at Eastlake. Paul, what are we looking for at Eastlake?
Yeah, the Eastlake Golf Club in Atlanta, Georgia, a par 70, just a tick over 7,300 yards. Originally designed by Donald Ross. It's had a few tweaks since then. Once again, not really one for the bombers. More accuracy off the tee for mine. The greens are Bermuda, so putting on Bermuda greens comes in very, very handy here. I guess with it being a Donald Ross design course, we're looking for sort of Donald Ross design courses, and ones that come to mind are the Sedgefield Country Club and the Detroit Golf Club, where the Rocket Mortgage Classic is held.
Very nice. Tom, have you got anything to add there?
No, I just think it is a change from last week, obviously, and sort of keen to look at guys who have performed here well in the past as well.
Yeah, I'm very similar to you both. Accuracy, hitting greens, putting, and course form was big in my looks this week. Now I'm just looking at the odds we've got. We haven't got a heap of markets up yet, but I'm told they are coming. Time of recording, we're lunchtime on Wednesday. So hopefully we get some more up before tournament kicks off on Friday. But anyway, we had a quick discussion before, and we've decided to. Well, Paul's told us, we haven't decided anything. Paul's told us that as the elder statesman here, that we can do whatever we want this week. There'll be no
free for all,
no favourites, no mids, no roughies. There'll be whatever you want. I'll be honest, I've done the form, I've got my players, I'm just scrambling now that we can do anything. So we will start with you, Paul. What is your first bet?
First bet, I'm going for a winner, but in the best 72 hole score, excluding handicaps.
Yeah.
So I'm staying away for anything that includes the handicaps. Can't be bothered with them. And my first pick in that outright winner 72 hole lower score excluding handicaps is my favorite Mexican, Abraham Ancer, at $26. He's played he's played the last 2 Tour Championships, finished 21st and 18th, but he has had some low rounds here. And I think the fact that he's seen the course a couple of times now will only do him better. He's finally picked up a Tour victory as well, not that long ago. He's fairly accurate off the tee as well. So I think things are setting up for him here. He's 22nd in strokes gained off the tee, 25th in strokes gained approach the green, and 29th in strokes gained putting. So as long as he keeps it down the middle, I think he's going to have a very, very good tournament. We've got Abraham Answer, $20 to have the best 72-hole score excluding handicaps, and he's paying $26 for that.
Nice. Tom, where are you going?
Wow, this is sick, isn't it?
Get out of it.
No way.
You cannot be serious.
I am serious. Well, it's slightly different to Paul. I'm actually taking 2 guys here at the odds. And one is Abraham Answer, and the other is Sungjae Im. Both paying $26. I feel like both of them are suited to this course. Both are coming into good form, and I just want to have 10 on both of them to have the best 72-hole score. So, yeah, 10 on both at $26.
Nice. I'm going to go a little bit more traditional. I'm looking at the outright winner bet, including handicaps. And I am going to Justin Thomas at $19. Starts 6 shots back. But he loves Eastlake. Sorry. His game is improving. His stats over the last 3 months in terms of stroke gains are flying. In 5 starts at Eastlake, he hasn't finished any worse than 9th. He was 2nd in 2017, 3rd last year. Strokes gained approach in his last 4 events, comparatively to his last 9, have doubled. So that's strokes gained approach. He ranks 3rd on tour, tee to green, approach, and 18th around the greens. At Eastlake, though, he is top 3 strokes gained total, tee to green, ball striking, off the tee, and around the greens. So I think JT will feature heavily here. I will take 10 on him to win at $19. Paul, you're next.
Yeah, I'm taking another one in the best 72-hole score excluding handicaps. And I'm taking one of the hottest golfers going around at the moment. He isn't quite suited to Donald Ross courses, but just the fact that he's in such great form, I had to take him. I'm taking the South African Erik van Rooyen at $41. I'm going to put $20 on that. His last 4 starts, he's had a win. He was 37th at the Wyndham, then he went 7th at the Northern Trust and 5th at the BMW. So just the fact that he's playing so well. He had a 65 in the final round at the BMW last weekend. I think he can continue that form. So Erik van Rooyen at $41, $20 on.
Nice. Tom.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with my man Sungjae Im. I'm going to punt him, including handicaps here, Paul. I'm sorry about that. To make top 5 at $7.50. And I'm going to have 20 on him at $7.50 to finish in the top 5.
Nice. I'm going to go to Paul's market. Outright winner, 72-hole lowest score. I'm going to put 10, 20 each on Rory and Xander Schauffele.
You'll like my next one.
Both at $12. As I said before, Xander absolutely eats up Eastlake. In 16 rounds, he's 47 under par. He won there in 2017. Was 2nd in 2019. He had the best 72-hole score last year. And like I said, he started 7 shots back. He's 8th. Yeah, sorry. So he needs to be aggressive. Obviously, he's 8 shots back, but loves his course. And then Rory is another one who loves Eastlake. 3 top 12s in his last 4 starts, including 2 top 4 finishes. He's 46 under through 28 rounds at Eastlake. Another who needs to be aggressive. And he ranks, where are we? He ranks top 2 in 5 of the 8 major strokes gained categories at Eastlake, and top 11 for the other 3. In his last 4 events alone, he has ranked top 10 strokes gained tee to green off the tee total, and 27th in putting. So Rory's heating up. So I'll take both those guys, $12.20 each. Paul, you're next.
Yeah, I've got 3 bets left, and they're all in the same market, so I'll give them all to you now. Round 1, lowest score, excluding handicaps. I'm sticking with Answer. He's paying $31 to be lowest score through round 1. And I'm also taking Xander and Rory. They're both paying $15. So 20 on Xander, 20 on Rory, 20 on Abraham. Xander's paying 15, Rory's paying 15, and Abraham's paying 31. And if there's a 3-way tie like there was in last week's tournament, I'll collect on all 3.
You take them all.
I'll take them all.
Cool. Tom, what have you got left for us?
I'm having a look at the group betting. I'm looking at Group D, where we've got Morikawa, English, Hovland, and Koepka. So English is actually, this is including handicaps. So English is 1 shot better off. He's starting at 4 under. Morikawa and Hovland are starting at 3 under, and Brooks is starting at 2 under. I think Morikawa looks to be still hampered by that injury. I mean, English is up there, but I'm going to go with my man Victor Hovland to finish ahead of those guys at $3.60. I'm going to put $30 on him to be the winner in that Group D. So 30 on at $3.60.
Nice. I'm going to take, similar to what you had, Paul, round 1 lowest score, excluding handicaps, Xander at 15, so I'll put 10 on there. And I will go to group betting for another look. Group A, Rahm, Cantlay, Deshambo, Finau. As I said earlier, I will put my money where my mouth is. I think of those top 4 favourites, Finau has the best chance to win. He is at 8 under. 450, I'll put 20 on at 450 there. Have you got anything left to spend, Tom?
Yeah, I've still got 30. I'm just looking at that. Are you not better off taking him? That's Tony Finau's top USA player, or is there something there that's then he doesn't have to take on Rahm?
Unlike Paul, I don't like to contradict myself, and because I tipped Justin Thomas to win out.
Yeah, okay.
See, we're thinking light up here, mate.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at the first round lowest score as well. I quite like that market with only sort of 30 or potentially 29 players, and there's a bit of value. So I'm going to stick with a couple of my guys, Abe Answer and Sung Jae Im. I have 10 on each of those, and 10 on Victor as well to finish me off.
Cool. My last 20 will go to Group B betting, and I'll take. Group B betting. 20 on Justin Thomas at 288. He goes up against Cam Smith, Spieth, and Burns. So that, I think, by my calculation, just my 100 gone. Paul, you're out.
All done.
Tom, done.
As am I. Just going to wait for them to turn into some winnings now. Be a nice change.
Yes. Alrighty. Now, we've got birdie bonus back this week, Paul, but it is changed a little bit because of the size of the field. Can you run the punters through this one?
Still pretty generous, I think. Anyway, place a pre-tournament $10 or more outright winner bet, not including handicaps, so excluding handicaps, and get a $1 bonus bet for every birdie your player or players score if they finish in the top 10 to par at the end of the 72 holes. So the market you want to be betting into is the outright winner, 72-hole lowest score, excluding handicaps market. Don't bet on the other market because you won't qualify. It's pretty important.
And that's not top 10 in the overall sort of FedEx standing. That's top 10 based on just the amount of shots they have over the 4 rounds. Is that right?
Yes,
72.
correct.
Yeah, excluding handicaps. So
yeah. So
that's just make sure you bet on the right market, punters.
Oh, sick! We've got 2 balls up. I didn't even see that.
Too late.
Oh
no. Money's down.
Oh
yeah. I've already got a 2-ball 3-way multi on. Sungjae Im over Morikawa, Rory over Johnson, and Rahm over Deshambo round 1. Probably should have done that.
Finau 220 over Cantlay too looks juicy. Oh, give me a few minutes. I'm going to load up here. Responsibly.
A shout out to Stephen Elker.
Oh yes,
who finished 3rd in a Champions Tour tournament, the Alley Challenge, last weekend behind Joe Durant and Bernhard Langer, and he finished in front of a number of illustrious golfers: KJ Choi, Vijay Singh, Mike Ware, Ernie Els, Darren Clark, Jim Furyk, David Toms. So it was a fairly competitive field there in that Champions Tour last weekend. Stephen Elker, 3rd. How good?
Nice. Very nice. Well done to Stephen Elker. Hopefully, I haven't put in a lot of groundwork yet, but hoping to get possibly a New Zealand golfing legend on the show in a couple of weeks, maybe to help us preview the Ryder Cup.
Whoa.
We'll leave that as a little teaser for the punters. But if there's nothing else to say, boys, we might as well leave it there. Thank you for joining us once again on the cut line. Tom, stay inside. Don't go outside. Don't get in trouble.
Try not to break the neighbour's window with my my lob wedge.
Or your putter snap on the weekend when you have your mini golf tournament. Paul.
Yeah. Had my first takeaway coffee today. Oh crikey, it was good.
I mean, I'm eyeing one up this afternoon. Got to watch those calories in the morning, you know.
Being the athlete you are.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. Anyway, we'll leave it there. Punters, enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the golf. We will see you maybe not next week. I think there's a break next week. Might have a week off and then back into it the week after.
Yep.
See you in a couple of weeks on the cut line. Cheers.